Hello and welcome to How to Pixelmon, your favorite instructional Pixelmon guide, right? Anyway, I don't want to bug you guys today, but we're going to be going over these two lovely bugs right here. We got Scyther and Scizor, although both in the same evolution chain, two very different and good Pokemon. Just because Scizor is an evolved form of Scyther doesn't mean Scyther's not as good as Scizor, and they both have very good uses in different scenarios. Now, let's take a look at the stats so we can see some of those uses. Now, if you look at a Scyther, its stats are going to be a lot of attack and a lot of speed. Now, this one, for example, is a trained one, because I had one. And with that much training, even at level 60, you can get it close to 200 attack and 200 speed, which makes it a very fast, very hard hitter. Now, it may not hit as hard as some other Pokemon, but it'll definitely hit first against most. Having a hasty nature, that'll increase the speed even more so. When you look at a Scizor, it has even more attack by a little bit, but the speed completely disappears. This is because, obviously, Scizor, evolves into a Steel type. He gains a lot more in the defense category and loses a lot of his speed. So, for this reason, Scyther's two best stats are attack and speed. Scizor's best attacks are attack and defense. Now on this one I've trained it up for health, so it'll be able to take separate hits as well. But on a wild one you can see here that has attack and defense both higher than most of its other stats. Now when it comes to the moveset you're going to want on these guys, on Scyther, I have a moveset of all moves that it learns right now. Obviously in a battle scenario you would not want False Swipe, but if you're just adventuring on a team, it's great to have a Scyther on your team so you can catch pretty much any Pokemon you want without having as much trouble as normally. So False Swipe's not a bad thing to have, but you could always put another more effective move on it. But some of the moves that you definitely want to have on your Scyther is Xyzor, which is in most scenarios going to be its hardest hitting move, and Wing Attack, and maybe even something like Night Slash, just to get a little versatility in its moveset. This way it'll be able to hit first, and definitely hit hard with one of these moves. Now when it comes to Scizor actually, Xyzor is also one of its hardest hitting moves, but it also has two steel moves that you can get. It has Iron Head, which will effectively do the same amount of damage as Xyzor, just with steel type damage, and Bullet Punch, which is also a steel move, but for the very same reasons we've explained previously with Mach Punch and quick attacks and all those kinds of things, it's very useful to have, especially on the slow Pokemon like Scizor. For example, if you attack a Pokemon with Iron Head, you take out 2/3 of its health because of Scizor's superior attack. Then an enemy attacks you and takes out only half your health, but they'll probably get the first hit in on you. So that means, despite you doing a lot more damage than them, they will still beat you before you get a chance for a second attack. In this case, Bullet Punch would come in, take the Pokemon out before it has any issue of hurting you, and you'll be able to continue the battle without as much damage on your Scizor. Now if you have an item such as a Leftovers or Shell Bell on your Scizor, that'll make it even more effective, because you get health during that turn that the enemy can't take away. Now, other moves on him, I have Brick Break, just as a good counter against some of the stuff you'll be going up against, and to round out the moveset a little bit. Now, I set up a wall over here. We have some of the natures. As you can see, it's set up a little bit differently than usual, because although Scyther and Scizor are very similar Pokemon, how you would want to train them are very different. A Scyther, you would want something such as Jolly, Hasty, Naive for speed, or Naughty or Lonely for attack. And of course, Adamant, you couldn't go wrong with. Any one of those 6 attacks would be very good for a Scyther. However, you would not want to have a, say, Hasty Scizor. Yes, it would increase speed, and that's never a bad thing, but it would also decrease its defense, or special defense, with one of these. And that's not something you would exactly want. On a Scizor, you can also opt for a Brave Nature to get the attack with lowered speed, because you're not really going to be training the speed on a Scizor anyway, and with the use of Mach Punch, it's not as important to have either way. Now Sassy, Relaxed, Impish, and Careful both get rid of speed and special attack, which you will not be training nor most likely using, and replace them with defensive stats, which either defense or special defense will be good for Scizor. If you build him specifically as a physical defense wall, then you will be able to focus on that with one of the natures. But anyway, you'll definitely want one of these 6 for Scizor or one of these 6 for Scyther, and it's definitely different on how you want to train them. Obviously, as we said before, Scyther is speed and attack, Scizor is attack and defense, which any kind of defensive training you would like to give it would be very effective. Now, we spoke of items briefly earlier. We can look at Scizor and realize that he has 2 steel moves, which are very good. This is one scenario where a metal coat would actually come into play very well. This increases the damage done by steel moves, therefore it'll make this Pokemon specifically more effective when it uses those moves. This will make your Iron Head your hardest hitting move as opposed to Xylophoney, which is a very good thing. You'll be able to use that and do a little bit more damage than you normally would. Another option, of course, would be to use a Shell Bell, which I'd probably prefer on the Scizor, because he has that tankiness and he'd be able to get some health back. Now on Scyther, you can of course go for a choice item, so he can just come in, hit hard, and try to sweep the opponent. Or you could always go for a metronome, of course, so you can use all those different moves, and potentially still build up to that same amount of high damage. Shell Bell is not a terrible idea, but on a Scyther, you don't get as much tankiness, so it won't carry very well. So I would definitely go with a metronome or a choice item on a Scyther, and a metal coat or a Shell Bell on a Scizor. Now, hopefully you guys are able to understand the differences between these two, and not discount either when you're looking into building a team. Like, I've done battles where I've had both of these guys on my team, and they've worked very well in completely different ways. Thing is, one thing I like about Scizor, he is only weak to one type, and that is fire, which is 4 times effective to him. Anything else is not super effective to him, so unless you're going up against a Pokemon with a fire move, you're probably going to be able to take a hit. Scyther, on the other hand, has all the disadvantages of a flying type and a bug type, so you really need the speed on him to carry him through. Anyway, that's going to be the episode. If you have liked it, make sure you leave a like on the video, because that would be much appreciated. And more importantly, leave comments down below on what you would like to see next in the series, as well as Pokemon you would like to see in the series, and I will of course explain them in future episodes. Thank you everyone for watching, I hope you have enjoyed, and goodbye!